right, here we go. Godzilla vs. Kong, baby. Let's watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll watch it tonight. After all, we know Godzilla's gonna win.
I don't know, hun. Thumbs. $10 says Kong got this in the bag.
Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?
Huh? Oh, when did it get dark? How did we end up here?
Movie time.
Hey, Cat. All right.
But hey, here we are with Godzilla vs. Kong. God of the monsters. King Kong. Finally fighting. I've been waiting for this movie for so long. This has been like one of the last movies I wanted the theatrical experience for. But due to circumstances, we had to like make our own home theater setup.
Which we did, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, it was very neat. I highly recommend like getting a projector. It's a very beautiful experience. But some quick history of these legendary picture Monsterverse before we get rolling with the movie itself. Godzilla 2014, I felt was a bit wasted potential. My interest in that movie dropped out as soon as Bryan Cranston dropped out.
Okay.
He was the heart of that movie. As soon as he left, that movie was kind of a bummer. I liked like maybe 2 other scenes after Bryan Cranston was gone, and that's just being generous. Kong Skull Island, a bit better. Didn't much care for the human characters, but we had John C. Reilly that was pulling things along. I really liked the battles. I liked Kong as a character. I definitely liked that all of the fights were in the daytime, so you could really see the action, and it was very creative, but you could still get the scale of these monsters. So, A+ for Kong Skull Island. Godzilla King of the Monsters, A++. That was like a Godzilla movie I've been wanting for a long time. Like, since like the Roland Emmerich film started, I was just like, well, this is cheesy garbage. And the Bryan Cranston, I'm just like, this is missing the point. This was the one that got it. And now we have Godzilla versus King Kong, which I feel is the best of both worlds. This is learning from your mistakes, knowing what works, and producing your best product.
Yeah, I think this movie did a really great job in catering to super fans like you are. You've seen all the movies, you have most of the movies, like, as well as casual fans like me that I haven't seen every film, I don't know every detail, but I enjoy watching like the monster fights and things like that. And I think it really did a great job at catering to both.
Yeah.
When it comes to like giving the fans that know everything, giving them kind of like that satisfaction of you can see the fights.
Yeah.
And also not waiting like 3/4 of the movie before you get to a monster fight.
Yeah.
You really get to see them right away, and they have a ton of personality, but it's also fun for someone like me who's very casual at like Godzilla and King Kong movies, that it was very interesting to watch without all of like the side plots being the main focus, and then like, oh right, monster movie, we should probably put that in.
Yeah, there were still side plots, but like it didn't bother me.
Right.
For the most part.
Yes.
We'll get to that. There's going to be some spoilers later on, but we're going to open up with just like our initial thoughts of the movie. I loved it. It's not one of my favorite movies, probably not even my favorite like monster movie, but it's up there. It's one of my favorite versus movies.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah, it was. I definitely like the Titan storyline of like the ancient rivalry and getting to see them pitted against each other.
I liked how they got to it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like that first fight is within the first like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And even at that, like, you open up and we see Kong right away.
Yeah.
So
he's almost our main character.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that they really focus a lot on Kong, and not to a fault. You know,
because he's so expressive.
Yeah.
And we were watching the trailer and we were worried about like his connection to a little girl.
Right.
But
I was
that
nervous.
was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved that subplot.
I thought that they were going to focus so much on this little girl and like the special relationship that they have. I thought it was going to be something really weird and cheesy, but it wasn't. I think it had just the right touch of like his connection to her and her part of the story to play. It wasn't overwhelming. Yeah. So it didn't feel like she was overshining the monster movie. So I also really love that she was deaf. I know people are like, oh, tug at the heartstrings, why don't you? But I think that that is a great thing. And it's never really like pointed out, I guess. It's not like, oh, she's deaf, coddle her. They're like, nah, she's deaf and she likes the giant ape. Like,
yeah,
you do you, kid. And people are just like okay with it. So I think that was just a really interesting, nice little twist that they put on. You know, they could have definitely left that out, but I think that it worked that it was part of the movie.
Yeah, you could see where the movie was going, but like the ride is just so enjoyable.
Yeah.
That like it doesn't matter that it's fairly predictable. I mean, the corporation is called Apex.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder if they're up to something.
wonder.
Because they go after Alexander Skarsgård, who's Bill Skarsgård's brother.
Yes.
I don't remember the character's name.
For those of you that don't know who that is, Bill Skarsgård plays It in
Pennywise.
the new It movies.
Yeah.
It's his brother. So that's how I remember them, because I really like the movie It. So
The only character name I remember was Bernie.
Bernie.
He was the podcast conspiracy.
Yeah.
Bernie!
Bernie.
That was the only name that stuck. Everyone else, I just saw the actor.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know the actors' names or their character names.
Well, that works.
I just know, like, who they play. Because that's one thing I love when movies do that. There wasn't, like, an excess of human main characters.
Right.
So it was like you had your main scientists, your main, like, little girl, and then you had, like, your side quest characters. So
Godzilla.
Yeah.
King Kong, Team Godzilla,
Team King Kong, and bad guy. That's all you need to know. So it's like, I don't really remember their names, but I can be like, you know, the female lead scientist, and you'd know exactly who I'm talking about because there's only one.
Yep.
So I really like that they did that, because I'm not the brightest crayon in the pack, and I can't really remember names all that well. So, but I think that overall the film did a really great job. I love the animation. I know that people would be like, oh, it's too much CGI, but how do you film like a giant ape
This was
and a giant
movie
lizard?
that people have been wanting with
And, like,
great CGI effects. It's one of the few remakes where I'm just like, this is warranted.
Yeah.
The original, I think, is from like 1960 something. And like, I love that movie, but like, I love that movie in the same sense that I love things like Skyward Sword or Origami
Where
King.
it's
They're
nostalgic
goofy, but
and-
there's an attachment here.
I
It's not
really-
necessarily an amazing product.
Yeah, I really love how they actually play on a lot of the nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
From the beginning to the end of the movie, there's like throwbacks to those originals. Like the opening credits, I thought were really well done because they used actual footage from those movies.
Yeah.
So, and it's like they're going through like almost like a grimoire, a bestiary type thing of Godzilla and King Kong, and they're using old footage from the
They
original
set it up
movies.
like a tournament because it's just like this
Yeah.
one eliminated, this one
And
gone,
it like
and now
it was just
these
a
two are
really
left.
really cool way that they set it up.
Yeah.
So I think that it was a nice homage to those original films and just being like, yeah, this is all leading up to this movie. So I think that was really clever.
And the plot never got confusing for me. It was your typical Godzilla plot. Hey, we got to find thing to do thing. And
They don't over explain, which is great,
No.
which means it keeps the pace.
the pace is amazing. It's just under 2 hours, which is the best run time
See,
for a movie.
And it's like, honestly, it didn't
clock
feel...
it at 2 hours
yeah,
and then
it didn't
wrap
feel
shit
like
up.
it was that long either. So where it's like, there are movies that are just under 2 hours, but you feel like you've been sitting there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So this one, I feel like because they didn't dive into like the explanation, it made it go faster because it's like, okay, you have your information, moving on. Which again, I know some professional critics are like, well, you know, I didn't really understand why, or I didn't really understand the technology. And I'm like, it's a fantasy movie about two giant monsters destroying a city. Like, we don't need to know the technology.
It's a fight. People
You
are
know?
just here for the fight.
Yeah. So, and I think that it's great that they were able to just like, here's the science. We're not going to explain it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Moving on. And I feel like that really kept the film going.
Absolutely.
So,
what was the one thing I didn't like? There's another subplot with Team Godzilla. You remember Stranger Things Season 3?
Yes.
Where, like, it's the revenge of the Mind Flayer, and the Mind Flayer possesses Billy, and, like, it has a personality and stuff, and you're like, ooh, more of that, please. But wait! There's a Russian conspiracy side plot.
Yeah.
Which is awful!
yeah. I feel like that...
It wasn't as bad as Stranger Things,
like,
but it was definitely the weak link.
Yeah. I think, like, Team Godzilla, they had, like, the three characters because, of course, with Kong being the main character, we see him the most, we get to know his personality the most. The main characters are scientists who have spent at least a decade with Kong.
Yeah.
So, like, there's got to be that, like, character that's like, go Godzilla.
Yeah.
So for that whole side plot, I think I would have liked it much better if one of the characters was gone. So if it was a duo instead of a trio.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it would have been more dynamic, more interesting.
Yeah, I think, and I'll just tell you who it is. It's Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
She just took the car
Which-
of the other dude and
yeah.
left him behind.
Yeah.
Met the Bernie conspiracy theorist podcaster, and they
then-
go off on their thing.
Right.
That third wheel can just spin right off.
He didn't really contribute anything. Which
He
was
does
the biggest
one
issue.
thing in the climax,
he does
which,
one
like-
thing at the end, which definitely could have been changed to be
Yeah.
more interesting. And we'll get into that when we start giving spoilers. So anyone that doesn't want to get spoiled, they don't have spoiled.
Which we're close to, because now we need to talk about the fights itself.
Yes.
Because they are awesome.
They are really
They are
good.
creative. There's even a throwback from like the original to where
Yeah.
like he tries to shove the axe down Godzilla's throat, and he's
Yeah.
just like, I ain't having none of that
Yeah.
shit. Because in the original, he shoves a tree down Godzilla's throat.
I think the fight scenes were really well, not only choreographed, but their personalities are so
Yeah.
spectacular. Even in the fight scenes, like there's a moment, which I think from all the reviews that we've watched after watching it, I think it's pretty 50-50 on how people feel. But there's like a moment where Godzilla like looks at the camera and smiles, and it's like it's so funny to me because I feel like that's such a strong way to show his personality.
Yeah.
Of like
He's a dick.
yeah, he is being a big asshole, and it's like the way that he just like
He has a
smirks at the
reason,
camera.
but he's still being a dick.
Yeah. So I think that like people are 50-50 on that. Like it was weird, it felt awkward, and then the other people are like that was hilarious, and I definitely think it was pretty funny. I'm all for it. I'm all for the smirk. Team Godzilla smirk.
Yeah, because when I was saying, oh, I think King Kong has this, I was taking into the account like his ability to use weapons,
Yeah.
his ability to just like maneuver around. He pops his shoulder when he's like, "Let's go!"
Yeah.
like that got me hyped.
Because we were talking about like
But-
who's gonna win. So we're gonna start getting into spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, pause here, throw us in your to be watch list, and then pull us back out whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
But during a fight, Godzilla goes and really just murders Kong.
Yeah.
So to the point where he's near death, and when he gets back up, his shoulder's dislocated, and he literally just like rams into a building and is like, "All right, back, let's go," like a beast. But the fight scenes, I think, were so well choreographed, and just the animation was fun. I didn't really notice the slow-mo. I know that was another big critique for a lot of people, that a lot of it is in slow motion. I think that might have been overcompensating for when you couldn't see the battle.
Yeah.
They're like, look how slow it's going. You have no choice but to see it now. So, but we were talking about who we thought would win.
Yeah.
So Kong or Godzilla.
I thought if Kong could survive that atomic breath, he's in it to win it.
Yeah.
I did not take into account that, well, Godzilla can swim.
So
Kong can't.
He could just pull Kong under the water and just be like, well, he'll drown eventually. So whereas like Godzilla, I feel is just more powerful.
Yes.
Like he just has more innate power than Kong, even
Yeah.
though Kong is definitely more agile and
Yeah.
able to move his body in a way that is definitely beneficial in a fight.
He's more adaptable
Yeah.
to like changes of terrain.
Plus
whereas,
he has thumbs.
yes, he has thumbs.
So, I mean, come on.
But no, there was a clear winner, and it was Godzilla.
Yes. Now, I would say that Godzilla definitely won because he technically kills Kong.
Yes.
Kong dies.
Yeah, they had to super defib him.
Yes, they super defib him. They took like one of the big rocket ships. I thought that was really kind of clever and almost comical.
Yeah.
Because you have like that sad shot of the little girl, and she, feels his heartbeat slowing down, and she's very upset because he is her friend
Yeah.
and he's dying. So they like super defib him by essentially exploding the rocket ship on his chest, and
Yeah.
he just like pops awake like, sorry guys, checked out for a minute. So I feel like Kong won simply because of human assistance.
Yep.
So,
Human interference. Godzilla wins by default.
well, because like the first time when
Dude,
when
the
they were on
first time he
ship-
was down, he was like, "Tap me, tap me."
he was trying. But, like, in the first battle, he was technically sedated. He was under 88%
That is true.
sedation.
Yes.
So, because Godzilla, the first fight they have that was, like, 40 minutes into the movie when Godzilla, like, attacks the ships, he was 88% down.
Correct.
And then he was so exhausted that he wasn't moving. They shut the ships off. They make Godzilla think that he won, and he goes away.
Yeah.
So, which made it even funnier when Kong comes back, and Godzilla looks at him like, didn't I kill you already? Like, he looks so confused. Which, again, their personalities, I love it. I was probably, like, the only person watching this movie that was like, oh, look how cute they
are. So Godzilla
are.
wins, and we have one more final battle.
Yeah.
Because we have another monster, another classic.
Yes.
From the Toho Studios. Mechagodzilla shows up because Apex wants their apex predator.
Yes.
They want mankind to rule. And they bring in Mechagodzilla using the remains of King Ghidorah.
Yes.
Which was very clever.
I thought that was also very clever. Now, the thing that I don't hate about that, because you were saying, like, you didn't like, again, spoilers here, so Team Godzilla is trying to stop the main villain who has made Mechagodzilla. And to do that, they're trying to hack into the computers. They can't do it, so essentially the kid just spills liquid into the computers, which shuts Mechagodzilla down. And you were saying you hated that, and I'm like, I can't hate it mainly because the main character essentially, well, the main villain is saying there has to be one Alpha Titan. There can only be one, and he is alluding that it's going to be him.
Yeah.
Using Mechagodzilla, he is going to be the Alpha Titan.
Yes.
And, like, mankind just can't do that. They can't be on the same level as the Titans. They're a step towards godliness. You know, they're just above us in their power. So I think that how easily humans were able to shut it down using something that could have easily been a mistake, I think that just goes to show how much stronger the actual Titans are.
So that was the one thing Mr. Third Wheel had to do.
Yeah, that was his only purpose.
Spill the liquid.
Which definitely could have, like, if he wasn't a part of the entire movie, the guy easily could have just, like, tripped and, like, spilled it into the machine, you know?
I think it'd be awesome if it was, like, an accident, not intentional.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Oh!
And he just dumps
Like,
the rest.
Yeah, as opposed to, like, the kid that literally doesn't do anything and contributes nothing the entire movie. And he's just like, here we go. Like, and it wasn't even in a comical way.
No.
Like, he didn't really serve much to the story.
I know.
But overall, like...
He was the one legit flaw I had with this movie. Everything else was nitpicking, because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. 5 stars for me. Like, I had fun. I don't know of any other movie that I'm looking forward to, but I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
I finally had, like, the grand finale. Like, I'm glad that, even though we didn't see this in theaters, if theaters are going out, they're going out with a roar, not a whimper.
Well, even, like, I love that. With the roar, the final battle, and I kind of called it, because I was like, listen, if Godzilla doesn't win, they're going to team up to, like, take down a bigger bad.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, and they utilized all the characters for that moment of, like, the little deaf girl saying, like, Godzilla is not your enemy, and Kong essentially having to accept he's going to have to help. And,
he has to, because, like you said... Kong versus Godzilla is like 2 friends fighting.
I looked at you during the movie and I was like, haha, this is kind of like when you fight with your friends and it's like, it's almost an even match, but there's one that's just like a little bit stronger. And then when Mechagodzilla comes in, it's like when your older brother joins the fight.
Yep.
And like, you 2 are going to die unless you team up against your older brother.
Because Mechagodzilla is wiping the floor.
Oh my gosh. He has rocket launchers on his like little spinal fins. Like they did a really cool job with his design, in my opinion. And even like his like nuclear breath was really cool. I thought so.
I agree. Oh, it was epic. I was geeking out.
You have like that one moment where Kong has to make the decision, and Mechagodzilla has Godzilla pinned, and he's like rearing up. You see like his lights turn on. And Godzilla just, like, accepts his fate. He's like, oh, well, guess I'll die here. And then Kong just, like, grabs his mouth.
Yeah.
And it shoots the beam directly into the sky, which I think is a really nice parallel to when Godzilla shoots his beam directly down.
Okay.
So, to me, it shows, like, the Titans are at the center in the Middle Earth. Not Middle Earth, but Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth, yes.
They're hanging out with the hobbits.
There is a shot where I'm like, what the heck's up there, Sauron? Because there's just like this huge black gate and this dark cloud. I'm just like,
oh, that's where Sauron lives.
I mean, this
He
is
lives in
Legendary
Hollow Earth.
Pictures.
They're
known to reuse CG. They'll be like,
Yeah.
let's just take this set.
I mean, probably. But so you have like mankind that just, they are not meant to be in Hollow Earth with the Titans. They
Right.
are two different. So I think it really plays in visually to that whole idea that we cannot be on the same level. So Mechagodzilla's beam shoots straight up, whereas Godzilla was able to shoot straight down all the way into Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was a really cool parallel.
No, this movie was amazing.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. Let us know what you thought of Godzilla vs. Kong. And if this series would continue, who do you want to see? Mecha King Ghidorah? Space Godzilla? Gigan? Destroyer!
I vote Space Godzilla.
Okay. Space Godzilla would be cool. Ooh, what about Biollante? Biollante would be cool. The big old plant that uses Godzilla cells. That was like a horror movie. With like a big old fight at the end. So yeah, let us know what you think of this whole Monsterverse. If it continues. Because most of them, like the creators, really plan this to be like the finale.
Yeah.
Considering like, the last couple movies, I like them, but they didn't do well.
Yeah, I think that this one was a really nice period at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
If they do choose to discontinue the Godzilla vs. King Kong movies, because Kong is home.
All right, there we go, guys. See ya at the next review.
Toodles!
Hey puppers, if you haven't already, join our Facebook page. We have fun memes, news, and exclusive sneak peeks to Pupcorn. We hope to see you there. Link in the description.